Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Just because I can. And this time I'll be playing Thief 2, Shadows of the Metal Age, Blind. I am a reasonably big fan of Thieves 1 through 3. I like Thief 3 even though I recognize it has some pretty major flaws in comparison to Thief 1 and 2, but overall I very much respect those games and I like them. I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan that knows everything about them or is very good at them, but I do like their atmosphere a lot. And I had a blast playing them. I have playlists for Thief 1, 2 and 3 on the channel, and I am going to post them in the description, but unfortunately I cannot in good faith recommend them, because when I played those games, it was shortly after I started the channel, and I was using an inbuilt microphone at the time, and didn't really know anything about how to set it up properly or anything, so you cannot really even hear me. Like, you would have to see for yourself whether it's something that's bearable for you, but unfortunately I don't think it is. And it's a pity because I enjoyed those games a lot, and I would like my thoughts on them to be preserved. In fact, when I recently felt, an itch to play a Thief game, I was considering replaying the original games, with better setup. But ultimately I decided against it because I just have such a huge backlog that it seems a waste to be replaying games that I have already played, even if the recording itself is crap. So instead, I decided to delve into fun missions because the Thief games 1 and 2, and I think 2 specifically, has a very vibrant and active modding scene, and there's probably hundreds of fun missions out there. I have never really dabbled in them, so I decided for my first foray into that, I am going to go for a campaign that I heard very good things about, because Shadows of the Metal Age is a full-fledged narrative campaign. It's like a dozen or so missions that are all interconnected with each other, with a single narrative, and supposedly it's done with a lot of professionalism, even including things like full voice acting or additional music, and also hand-drawn cutscenes in the vein of the ones that were originally in Thief 2. So that all seems very impressive for a fun project, and I am eager to see, how it plays. So without further ado, let's start a new game. I am going to be playing on Expert, even though I'm not very good at the game, as you will soon discover, because I like how Thief handles difficulty. It's pretty unique, as far as I know, because changing the difficulty actually changes your objectives. It doesn't simply make the game quote-unquote harder, it literally makes it different by adding additional tasks that you need to fulfill in each level, and it's a great incentive for the player to explore the level. So I will be playing on Expert, but don't expect me to actually be an expert in the game.
Finally! This day has finally arrived, and I'll get to set sail on my own, with my own ship. I've fought for this opportunity for so long, and now I can barely believe this day is here. I feel like a little child, filled with uncontrollable excitement. It'll be a long journey, and I'll miss my family, I know. But I've got to do this. I have to prove my worth, not just to my family, but to myself. I'll be shipping some goods to a large city for trade. I've never been there before, but it's rumored to be full of opportunity and wealth. At least I won't have to be there alone. My cousin, Kadar, has been trading in the city for a while, and I have some cargo for him. We used to play together when we were kids. I haven't seen him in so long, but he wants me to visit his new shop. I've missed Kadar. I look forward to this challenge, and I know that whatever may lay ahead, Linjala will watch over me, and I'll enjoy every minute of my adventure, even with the dangerous waters and approaching storms.
Okay, so it seems the protagonist of this game is a foreigner who arrives to the city from some kind of an Egypt analog. There were pyramids and sphinxes, and she has like an ankh necklace. It isn't really a problem for me because it was already established by the original games that cultures analogous to our real cultures exist in this universe. There were notably mages that were sort of Arabesque, judging by their names and the way that they dressed. That's not a problem at all. And in fact, it's pretty interesting that you play as a woman, because obviously in the Thief games, the protagonist was always Garrett, who was a man. And women overall didn't play such a great role in the story. Well, apart from a certain character in Thief 3, but then, I guess she was a woman if you go by like pronouns, but she wasn't even entirely human, so there is also that. Okay, let's continue. Unexpected shelter, difficulty expert. Search the dock area for your cousin Kadar.
Don't you worry about a thing, little missy. I'll take care of your cargo until you get back.
Okay. I can't get through here. Some bottles. And crates with fish. Okay, cannot climb this. Healing oil. Okay, so what kind of items do I have? I have a captain's log, a compass, and the aforementioned healing oil. Let's read the captain's log. Manifest. 2 crates of banja fruit, 45 pounds of matchkin extract powdered, Yowara dragon statue for Kedar, 12 boxes of assorted gems and stones, 23 pounds of Graskor gourds, 1 crate of Linjala figurines, 1 crate of the Book of Deeds. How can there be a crate of a book? Is it all just copies of a single book? Maybe it's like a religious book, like a Bible from my homeland. Bible analog, obviously, is what I mean. Like a holy text that I want to... Oh, okay, there's further writing, so maybe it will explain. Captain's log, day 5. It seems a bit dramatic to keep a captain's log on such a small ship, an uneventful journey, but Papa insisted. I'm excited about seeing Kadar again, and I hope the city is all that he has promised. There were some rough winds late this afternoon from the northeast, as I anticipated, but the ship is fine. The crate containing the Yowara dragon has shaken from its place in the hold, and the head was broken from the statue. Kanar really needed this piece, and I hate to deliver it to him in 2 pieces. I'm sure there are gifted artisans in the city who can repair it at a reasonable price. I won't mention it to Kedar until I've had a chance to get it repaired myself. We'll be so excited to see one another. I doubt it comes up for a few days. Captain's log, day 7. The sea is calm today. It's so peaceful here. I can expect to reach the city tomorrow. I've brought a small collection of Linjala statues and texts, in hopes there will be some way of distributing them in the city. I'm unfamiliar with their religions and customs, but if nothing else, people may be attracted to them because of their foreign origins. I would never seek to profit from Linjala, the goddess forbids it, but I'm sure she will be pleased that I have remembered her on this trip. Okay, so they are religious artifacts, and she intends to sort of proselytize with them. Which, you know, if I know anything about the religions of the city, I don't think that's such a great idea. That would be welcomed, but, you know. Okay, I can open this, so let's do that. Dayport warehouse manager.
Kedar! There you are!
Hey, I was just on my way down to the docks. You're early.
I've missed you. It just isn't the same at home.
I've missed you too, Sayer.
I just go by Zaya now. I'm not a kid anymore.
Come on, I'll take you back to my shop. I think you're really gonna like the city, Zaya. It's full of promise. You'll see.
I can't wait to see.
Okay, can't read any of that. A partial map of the city. Dock office to the commercial district. Daygate access for after-hours shipments. The old quarter. Now, this is another thing I've always loved about the Thief games. All of the maps are hand-drawn by the characters in-game. You know, they are a piece of storytelling, actually, because they are often inaccurate, or at least they're a very broad approximation of the terrain, because the characters don't have access to, like, advanced cartographic tools. They just sort of roughly sketch it, and it often reflects the level of knowledge of the character. You know, if the area is particularly mysterious, then the map is full of like blank areas with question marks, and the character actually like tries to predict or at least guess what might be in a given area. I find it to be very atmospheric and cool. I would actually like if more games did that, you know, give you a map that's part of the world. It's not really part of the UI per se. Okay, some ships. Can't get through here. Let's follow my cousin. Pier 13.
Stay close to me. It's pouring out here.
Spectators Pub.
It may be pouring out here, but the city doesn't look as dangerous as I've heard. These streets are deserted.
Well, I guess most of the city's not too bad, except for the poor section over to the west. There are some places there not even the city watch will go. Still, I wouldn't go out by yourself. The city's no place for a stranger, especially at a time like this.
I think here? Nope, it's a dead end.
Come on, Zaya, there'll be time to look around later. Let's go.
That's a mechanist chapel.
Zaya, come back.
So I guess the game must take part concurrently with Thief 2 or shortly before. Because, you know, the mechanists are already a thing, but they are still a thing, if you know what I mean.
You're gonna have to tell me all about your trip when we get back, Saya. It's been so long since I've seen anyone from the family.
Strong in the arm and son's armorer.
I sure hope this weather lets up soon.
Okay, this seems like a forge or something. Although it's a little bit weird
Come on,
that
Zaya, there'll be time to look around later.
it has
go.
open access from the street. Without even a door.
Don't worry, the shop's not too far from here. I can't remember the last time a morning looked this dark. You know, just a couple streets over to the west of where we are right now, I had a friend tell me he saw a ghost. Really? Would you believe it? Some of the old buildings over there are supposed to be haunted.
Wetterburgen Machinists.
Hey, why are the day gates closed? What's going on here?
Dakthori armor. Tarvalon weaponsmith. Is this an ambush? Kind of looks like it.
When I find you.
Oh yes, it's very much an ambush.
Thief over here. So you want to play hide and seek, huh? You're mine now, thief. You're gonna like these arrows. They're sharp. Ha! I'm not following her in there. She's as good as dead anyway.
Okay, so they're clearly very apprehensive about this property here.
Come on, let's dance.
Could this be the haunted house that my cousin mentioned?
Oh, you're dead now. Hey, get down here. You won't get away. Give up now. We've got your ship.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Come on, men. She's cornered.
I'm not going in there. Are you crazy? That place is haunted.
Yeah, I've heard some stories.
It's not haunted.
Then you go in there alone.
I need people with me to search for her.
Well, I'm not going in there, and anyone who does is crazy.
Fine. Maybe you're right. The zombies can have her then. We'll just hang outside here to make sure she doesn't come back.
I'll make certain she doesn't leave from the windows.
Okay, so it is a haunted house. Obviously, the door closing on their own behind you is a staple of haunted houses. A rough map. Ballroom. Okay. Well, let's take a look around. I think I'm stuck. Okay, this is the staircase that goes up.
The knowledge depository will help you open this door. Search well.
Knowledge depository. I have little idea what that means, but you know what is weirder is
What
that,
is this? Who are you?
okay, I was about to question why she didn't question the ghostly voice, but I guess she did. She just did it with a little bit of a delay. Okay, that's it. Yet another healing oil. Some pots and pans. This seems to open into a back garden of some sorts. Okay, lighting on their own is another staple of horror stories. And this seems like a very obvious hidden passage, because you can see that kind of in the texture, you know? There's roughly a shape of the door. And there are those two pedestals, so maybe I need to... Is it moving? Or am I tripping? Because maybe I need to like put something on them. I think it is moving, actually. You know, moving downwards when under weight. So yeah, just stand on this. But one rises when the other one sinks. So maybe I need to put something on it, like a sack. Found a secret. Did I now? Where is it though? Like, I was pretty sure it's going to open right here, and I didn't really hear anything with regards to it opening somewhere else. Let's just go to the back garden again. Ah, right here. Okay. Just more healing oil. That's kinda lame. I was hoping for some actual loot, or better yet, like a piece of lore or something. Oh well. Let's explore the rest of the house, I guess. Okay, that's a library. Fairy lyrics from the notes of an unknown adventurer. She that pinches country wenches, if they rub not clean their benches, and with sharper nails remembers, when they rake not up their embers. But wist I of a woman bold, who thrice my brows does sign, I might regain my mortal mould, as fair a form as thine. At morning and at evening both, you merry were and glad, so little care of sleep and sloth the pretty ladies had. When Tom came home from labour, or Chris to milking rose, then merrily went their tabor, and nimbly went their toes. His belt was made of myrtle leaves, planted in small curious thieves, beset with amber crowslip studs, and fringed about with daisy buds. The trickster came and went, did he, and all the folks did quickly flee, when where once their house of dancing was, now stood a tree and bees abuzz. Okay, so this is about the pagan god, the trickster, chasing some people out of their homes or something and replacing it with untamed wilderness. Which definitely does seem like his MO. Oh, quite a few books here. Spells for fixing things how you want them to be, by Richalia. For a person who has a lot of greed in him, I have just a thing. Obtain a lock of hair of the person and place in a purple silken bag. Get a bit of goat's milk. Find a piece of paper and a pen. Put the milk into the bag and leave it sit for 3 days. It should stink like a burrick's last meal, and the milk will have dried up. Write on the note, "Don't be greedy, you ugly old cur," and tie it to the bag. Drop the bag in front of the offender's house. He will pick it up and be so afeared of the bag with his own hair that he will stop being greedy. I don't think this is going to work. This is a pretty crap spell. It seems to rely more on some kind of psychology of intimidation and grossing people out, but I don't think it would work. Here is one to make friends and influence them. Obtain one bright green frog. Purchase the most wonderful influencing powder from me for 12 gold pieces. I will give you the rest of the spell once you have purchased the powder. Okay, so this is a mage DLC. You have to buy additional content to unlock the rest of the spell. Well, it's nothing if not, keeping up with the times. Notes of an Adventurer by Anonymous. An excellent way to get a fairy to be bound with you, but for myself I have another way. Get off the woods 2 things, a cup of dew and a branch of oak with leaves that are green. Bring the wood in moonlight, but it should have only half a moon to it. Next, find a circle of toadstools. And after the great fire which purified the land, there arose a people who were of a place not of anything we know. Their hair did billow out like great sails, and their skin shone with a high glimmer. Their eyes were pale and sad, for they had fled their own land which was dying. They did practice magics which were new to this place, magics which brought up new trees and carved up the mountains and hills to their liking. They called themselves the children of the Danu, who was their mother and protector. There are two accounts of how they came to arrive here, and one of them is that they sailed on a ship in the air, another that they walked on the mists across the ocean, a long journey that they soon met with resistance when one of the most amazing discoveries in his journey was a type of food called chocolate by the natives. It remains difficult to procure, though I have found myself pining for it as of late. Okay. Okay, so this opens some kind of a door, which is another staple of stories, you know, a secret door opened by moving a book in a library. Excerpts from Roland's Life and History notebook. Because of my reputation as a swift note-taker, and as one who is deeply intrigued by matters of history, I was given the opportunity to be witness to a special interrogation by the Hammerites upon the day they had captured a young acolyte of the group known as the Hand Brotherhood. I had heard of this brotherhood, and had seen too, I believe, to be these strange mages, but I had never spoken directly to one before. As it was, the acolyte did not speak with the strange echo that pervades the voices of the mages, even apparent if they are in a small room. So it was my belief that he was a mere apprentice of some sorts. He was caught trying to sneak into a Hammer library, but opened the wrong door at the wrong time. 2 hours later I arrived, and Father Doran proceeded to question the apprentice. At first he would not speak, but his tongue loosened a bit when one of the Hammers brought in a pot of boiling water. The mere sight sent him into fits, but he soon calmed himself and revealed his allegiance to the Hand Brotherhood. His eyes were dark, as was his hair, and though youthful, he held a permanent scowl as he glared at the Hammerites and myself. He revealed that he went to the library of his own accord, that he might acquire a few books and return, thereby impressing his teachers. Both Father Doran and myself doubted this claim. Little as we knew of the Brotherhood, we were certain that we would be unimpressed with petty thievery. Soon the head Hammerite interrogator came into the room with what can only be described as instruments of torture. At first he poked and prodded the young mage, who still refused to speak. Then, and I had to look away at this, greater measures were taken. I watched Father Doran, who did not flinch more than once. Who did flinch more than once. He even closed his eyes for a few moments, his expression pained. Finally the boy spoke the truth. He was cast out from the Brotherhood for attempting to gain forbidden knowledge, and he hoped he might find the knowledge in the Hammerite library to use against his former teachers. Sad thing that I left before I found out his name, but he was sentenced to jail for a while, and then was to be turned over to the mages. I do not know if this ever occurred. As it stands, it is entirely possible that the modern-day mages descended from those precursors, but I have no proof of this. The precursor artifacts that I have seen point to a society far too different to be the ancestors of what is now the Hand Brotherhood. Not only that, but the mages come from far beyond the East Shore. My attempts to speak with the member of the Brotherhood have been thwarted at every turn. Not only do they not like visitors, but they also shun those with any serious questions. A pity. Of course, the stranger things was how their skin shone a bright green. Their hair flowed around them, and I felt as though I might fall under their spell. Far away though I was, I couldn't help but stare, and it seemed as though I was growing nearer to them, despite the fact that my feet were firmly planted on the ground. They were beautiful, these strange women, and last, their glowing yellow eyes caught sight of me, and I tensed. Their hair rose above them, and I turned, running like the coward that I am. Who knows what tortures I might have had were I captured. I think about this often. Despite those things, I am still considered a historian. Though the pagans are interesting, there doesn't appear to be any evidence that the trickster was ever a tangible deity, or that he could somehow be reborn. It just isn't feasible. The Hammers, of course, vehemently deny this, but what am I to say? They just won't face the facts, no matter how clearly presented, and I do fear that they might take my facts as blasphemy. Still, all their training is good, even if there is no trickster to battle with. Someone must protect the weak and the innocent of the city. We certainly cannot rely on the local government to lift a finger against the criminals. How long for a strong hand of justice? How I long for a strong hand of justice to swiftly smite down the scum of the gutters. Okay, so the Hand Brotherhood are those mages that were already in Thief 1. So yeah, there's that. And obviously it is ironic that this guy claims that the trickster is not real, because you literally fight him. Well, I guess you don't fight him directly, but he is physically present in Thief 1, and you thwart his plans at the end of the game. Okay, that's very clearly a ghost. That's a staircase that goes down. Anything to say? Ghost? No. Okay, this is like a spinning gear, and I don't think I can interact with it in any way. Damn, I can't get out of this place. I can't understand how this door can be closed so fast by the wind, while I barely opened it in half an hour, and those horrible sounds and steps, they are getting closer every minute. Who or what can live in such a place? Tinker used to warn me about something strange here. I should have listened to him. My candle is almost burned out now. Soon I will face the darkness. Whatever is coming, I will not be an easy opponent. Well, I'm not quite sure how true that is. Okay. This gives me an access to maybe walk on some windowsills above the garden in the back, which, to be honest, maybe I should do that outright, but first I'll want to check the rest of the doors. And also, I need to figure out what does the book in the library open. Delirium tales, enchanted, prowling in the night, hiding neath my fright. Manipulate my sight, thief. Whenever you steal, my punishment's real. Mind demon. Scraping as I crawl, tearing, bruising fall. Thirsting, raging, blind, racing against time. Razor fingers cling, piercing demons sing. Twisting hollow hell, burning blisters swell. Sharp cut aching breath, choking scent of death. Grueling jawbone grind, cursed by my own mind. Incantation, too late to scribe alive. In my soul I would rather hide than fight. You stealing my soul, a marbled ocean of steaming ghosts. They bear what tavernous and cold. A haunted ocean is cavernous and cold. I'm where the fearing dwells. What does the word tavernous mean? I don't think it's in any way related to the word tavern. While studying this area, I found that this particular mansion had many owners. It was first built some 150 years ago on a ground that used to stand an old castle long since razed. Two families inhabited the mansion, the first being Lord Soret Orlatu, or Orlaten, who had it built. He and his family were routed during the minor working men riots that went on a few years later. They relocated in East Dayport and went on to establish a profitable jewelry business, now gone. The second family, the Coranius family, lasted for 2 generations before leaving for unknown reasons. That is what I'm trying to discover, and I have had little success. The gardener of the second generation lived here. Well after the family has left, in fact. He tended the garden until recently he disappeared. He was, after all, 90 years old or so. At any rate, he was a gibbering old man, anxious to tend to the garden of the mansion, and fend off any nibbling creatures that enjoyed feeding on such luscious gardens, or luscious greens. And when he wasn't scurrying around, he would spend hours simply staring into the pond. I think the mud buggers stole a lot of items from the mansion and moved them around because I couldn't find keys to many of the doors, one in particular being the keys to the basement door, which I have never been able to find. I suspect that the old coot has either lost it in the garden or has thrown it into that putrid pond. On my first encounter, the old gardener told me how much he loved the mansion and the trees. His eyes were wild, perhaps mad. A love for the trees. Love for the greens, he hollered and scampered away from me, cradling some trimmers. On a second encounter, the old man seemed much more lucid and commanding. He sat with me a while and told me of the old days when the mansion was filled with life and the sound of laughter echoed through the walls. He also hinted that the lord of the house had ill dealings with some of the shopkeepers of the city, but I can't be certain I understood all of the allusions that well. One day when I was exploring the mansion back area, I noticed a line of trees, beautiful and green, but there was one missing from the row. I asked the gardener, and his face turned into melancholy. Yes, I didn't tend them well. No, I did tend them well, but a disease did take the tree, which is not there. I wept, I did, yes. I wept a good long time for that beautiful tree. He then began to get tears in his eyes, and I left to give the old man some time alone. Just as I was about to leave one day, I heard the old gardener talking around the corner. At first I thought it was just to himself, but then I heard another voice, soft and melodious. As I stepped around the corner I could see nothing. Whoever it was had left, and the old man turned to look at me, his eyes filled with an intelligence I had never seen in him before. I stepped up to him and asked about who he was speaking with, but he refused to even acknowledge my question. The second to last time I saw the gardener, he scrambled up to me in his strange gait, and his eyes, mad and bright, exclaimed, "I have seen the beauty. It takes me in, it does. The mansion has secrets. I will preserve them, yes, take secrets with me wherever I go. I can only assume that he meant go, but he was overwhelmed by whatever was exciting him. The very last time I saw the gardener, he had a peaceful air about him. Perhaps he knew he was not long for this world, or mayhaps a madness had left him for a while. This I did not know. He smiled at me and said, "Where I am, the secret will be. Where I am, I am. I love the green, yes." Then he turned, leaving me stunned. That was the last time I saw of him, and that was 3 weeks ago. 2 days ago, while finishing up my report about the mansion for the tax collector, I saw the most amazing thing. A row of trees in the back of the mansion, where a tree was missing, now had a full-grown replacement. I am not certain how the little mad gardener hauled a big tree all the way back there by himself, but he must have done so. Surely trees do not grow that big overnight. Perhaps he convinced the local Hammerites to help him, but they have their own agendas. I can only wonder about this strange marvel. Okay, so this implies that the key to the basement is in the garden, but that doesn't answer the question of what does this open? Well, actually, it does answer that question. It literally opens this door that's right beside. That's good to know, because that would have bugged me if I didn't. Yeah, okay, great. Great. So, I am going to jump out here and see if there's anything on the windowsills. Great, it didn't exactly work. That's a piece of fruit, which is not exactly useful, and I'm also not sure what it's doing here. Like, why would someone... Well, I guess it might have fallen from a tree that's taller than this, but there doesn't seem to exist such a tree in the vicinity. Like, I guess it might be somehow linked to the pagans, because I'm pretty sure the pagans actually had magic fruit in the vanilla games. So maybe it's used for something. Okay, let's visit that garden and see if I can find anything there. Yes, just a big rock. Just more fruit. I doubt it matters that much, but I obviously will collect it if it is given to me. Okay, so that's the aforementioned key to the basement.
Haste will lead to death, while attention will serve the best.
Who are you? I don't understand why you're helping me.
Okay, this looks very suspicious, again, because of the texture. He said something about how haste is not a good idea, or something. Again, this seems kind of... Now, admittedly, that is a bit cheesy to deduce the right way from the way the texture looks. But, you know, I can't help but see it. You know, there's obviously something different about this patch of land, much as there is with this. Oh, great. Yeah, so that pretty much proves my theory, right?
Straight as the falling death. Then he chose right most, though not right he was.
Who are you? I don't understand why you're helping me.
Okay, so this straight up didn't play the last time, but he said that the straight path leads to the falling death, and the rightmost path is not right after all, so obviously I do need to go left. But it's interesting, it didn't play before. I guess it must have been a bug. Today, I can't be certain, but I think they are following me. They are always following me. They're always following me. I had the guards expand the basement, but I don't trust them, not one whit. I think they want my money. They see this great big mansion and they want part of it. Kendall took a bit of stone with him yesterday. I'm certain of it. I don't like that, no. It's grievous waiting like this. I hired more men to dig out the basement, and we made a discovery, the caves. I've heard about them, but I had no idea they were this close to the house. This is perfect. What is also perfect is that they have no idea who they are digging out. No, what they are digging out. None. I have begun to fill in a trap here and there. I haven't set them yet. Wouldn't want to kill the workers, no. Yes, look, it's so perfect. I think I shall weep. My wife knows about this, but she is so caught up in primpery that she cannot comprehend the magnitude of it. And now the caves, so beautiful. I do like the caves. They are like the womb, perfectly warm and giving. Not like my wife, who is cold and taking. Okay, that's kind of crudely written, but obviously that isn't necessarily a flaw of the writing of the game, because realistically speaking, not all characters who live in this universe are going to be good at putting their thoughts to paper. So, you know, as long as someone is not characterized as someone who's supposed to be good at writing, you can't really be mad when he turns to not be. My task is almost complete. One of the workers fell into a trap today. I did warn him. Yes, I did. Or maybe I didn't, though. Oh well, that's one less worker I have to pay. They all want my money. Yes, they do. Only 3 workers have remained to work. Why is that? Don't they trust me? Don't they like me? They don't like me. They don't like me. Well, I don't like them either. They keep watching me, and they think I will snap. Well, I haven't snapped yet, so why would I now? Why? Tomorrow is the last day for working. The guards and digger servants will finish setting things up, and then I shall begin to finish my own tasks, which are the traps. My wife questioned me today. I think she's a little bit scary. No, I don't like her at all. She watches me all the time now, staring with those big cow eyes of her. She used to be by my side, but now she prims and prims. I heard a guard speak about her rudely. He's in a trap now. I think he's still alive. I can't be certain. I don't want to look. Yes, I do. I'll go and look. At last. Now my wife and the guards and the servants and the children and the gardener and the cook and the stable boy and the visitors will all have to find me back here. They will have to get through my traps, which are really my soul. If they can know my soul, then they shall traverse the traps wisely. If not, well, they didn't deserve to see me anyway. Now they can't stare at me. Now they can see me. It's so beautiful. I'm weeping. I'm truly weeping because it hurts so well. What's that sound? Ah, one more less deserving soul. Quiet screams really from this far away. I guess the first trap got him. I don't care how I get food. I will make servants bring it anyway, if they know I'm here. Maybe they don't. I don't care because they can't stare at me all the time. Snap, 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 squeak, squeak, squeak. Okay, obviously whoever wrote that is clearly insane.
The safe passage.
Okay, wood will provide a safe passage, you say? Well, let's try that.
Careful! Search the secret to remove the danger.
Okay, there's a very bright red lever. There seems to be a tunnel leading to it from over here. And in turn, there is also a piece of wood right here, as if it's intended for standing. You know what? Let me try. Do the objects in Thief have physics? Like, I guess to a very limited degree they do, because what I'm wondering is... Okay, that's actually very cool. Although, that doesn't really change the fact that I would still like to get into the tunnel, because there might be some additional stuff there. Yeah, it's very clearly a trap. How do I open the tunnel? Okay, that's kind of hilarious. we're healing now. Can I open it? Okay, so this is clearly just the way forward, and obviously it wouldn't make sense if the way to open this, which disabled this trap, was, you know, behind that trap. Unless maybe the way to open it doesn't really exist anymore since I flipped the lever anyway. But how would I know that? That's the first question. And second, why would it even work like that? Like, theoretically, the way to open the tunnels should exist regardless. Oh. Okay, I'm an idiot. That's a little sad. And to add insult to injury, there was also literally nothing of value in here apart from another healing oil. I don't think items in Thief even transfer from mission to mission, so gathering all of that is kind of pointless. Oh, come on. I guess I can just use one of them. Now I should at the very least be able to survive. I'll take it at this point.
Patience, young girl. Do not let your quickness and your youth guide you.
Okay, so it's drawing a bridge for me, but seeing how it said I should not let my rashness and my youth guide me, and that patience is key or whatever, I think I'm going to wait until it is done, because I have a sneaking suspicion that it might work in a way where if I rush it, it's going to not finish it, and then I won't be able to reach the other side. Okay, I think it is done.
Suppress your pride. Kneel by the Guardians. I am Malik. You are in trouble, yes? You come here to seek safe harbor.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
Say nothing of thanks, but sit a while and tell me of your woes.
Okay. That's pretty great, because this episode was getting a little bit too long, so I would have ended it anyway, but it's great that it wrapped up with the mission as well. So, was there any loot to be found? No. In secrets found, 1 out of 1. Okay. Okay. Great. So, the first impressions are definitely pretty great. Like, the cutscenes sort of have a very similar feel to them as the ones in Thief. And overall, the atmosphere in this first level was already pretty cool in the haunted house. You know, the ambience, the quiet ambience, and the overall feeling of, like, you know, solitude was pretty nice. I'm definitely impressed with this being a fun creation, and I'm eager and excited to experience what else it might bring in the future, but that's is going to have to wait, because, as I said, this episode has already been long enough. So that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.